It's been a week since Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico was released from hospital after being shot 3 times, but the country does still remain divided. A brief political truce after the attack has given way to a bitter blame game ahead of this week's EU elections. Alex Cartier travelled across the small Eastern European country and filed this report.
It was the moment that rocked Slovakia. The country's prime minister shot at point-blank range in broad daylight. Robert Fico was immediately airlifted to hospital in a critical condition. The first assassination attempt on a Slovak leader in the country's 30-year history, and the first in Europe in more than 20 years. The 71-year-old attacker had a patchy political history, supporting a range of parties in Slovakia. But authorities are clear. The shooting was politically motivated. Prime Minister Fico may now be in recovery, but for many the attempt on his life embodies the deep wounds of escalating polarization which has plagued Slovakia for years. Described as a left-wing populist, Robert Fico has long been a controversial figure dominating Slovak politics. Re-elected for a 3rd term in 2023, he's been fiercely critical of the press as well as of the European Union. He's pledged to end military support for neighbouring Ukraine and has been open to improving ties with Russia. The attempt on his life came as his government sought to push a number of controversial measures. They include shutting down Slovakia's Special Prosecutor's Office, which investigates high-level corruption, and taking control of state media. Experts say such measures are only deepening divisions.
It provokes, of course, disagreement from the opposition, from supporters of opposition, from media, from civil society. So if government will be continuing this line of these policies which are problematic from the point of view of functionality of law enforcement organs, rule of law as such, freedom of media, division of power and civil society development, then I think that unfortunately this polarization will be continuing.
This is the very spot in the town of Handlova where Prime Minister Robert Fico was shot and rushed to hospital, a moment that sent shockwaves through an already divided Slovak society. But the people in this sleepy town wanted us to know that they, and Slovaks in general, are not the source of their country's divisions.
People here are not divided, but politicians make us divided. But people are not divided. People are friends.
But polarization and division has been building here for years. Robert Fico himself had been accused of fanning the flames of political hatred in the past. Just a month before the attempt on his life, he lashed out at the press and Slovakia's opposition, accusing them of spreading hate. Hate, he chillingly predicted, that could lead to the murder of a senior government official. In the wake of the attack, Slovak parliamentarians from across the political spectrum came together to condemn it. In a landmark show of political unity, MPs in the Slovak parliament behind me unanimously adopted a resolution calling for the respect of the democratically elected government and for Slovaks to stop spreading hate across the country. But that unity has been short-lived. Luboš Blaha is a leading member of Robert Fico's governing Smer party. On the campaign trail just 2 weeks after the shooting, he once again blamed the press and Slovakia's opposition parties for the attack.
You cannot call things in a way that you will come here as a priest and saying, okay, let's be calm. People feel the hatred, again, the emotion of anger, of injustice, because our prime minister, our friend Robert Fico was almost killed, and suddenly the liberal media and political opposition are blaming us that we are the reason why he was almost killed. This is ridiculous, and that's why we ask for kind of redemption, kind of saying sorry from the side of liberal camp, because really it was for years of hatred against Robert Fico and against Smer, my party.
Meanwhile, the pro-European Progressive Slovakia party, now in opposition, says that despite their best efforts, the governing Smer party has no desire to unite the country.
We already had an assassination of a journalist. 2 young people from LGBTQ community died, and now this assassination attempt. The emotions are extremely high, and it is a responsibility of politicians to calm the situation down and to use the language that is appropriate, not the one that is dividing.
Candidates in the upcoming European elections have had to ramp up their security. Those we spoke to said they were worried about their personal safety. But anger and frustration can also boost and entrench political support. So as Prime Minister Fico recovers, Slovakia remains on edge, still far from healing its bitter political divisions. Alex Kadier, CNA, Slovakia.